expect from college? Sure, you want to learn and earn a degree and get a good job when you graduate. But do you expect more? Do you picture yourself growing, building relationships, developing as a person while preparing for a career or graduate school? If that's how you picture college, then picture yourself at Messiah College.
Welcome to YBTV Rewind and our last show of the year. I'm Nolan Hoganboom.
And I'm Reed Milliken. Tonight we'll take a look at some of this semester's most significant news, biggest changes, and best memories.
That's right, Reed. And helping us with the kickoff is our very own Paul Callender, Paul's Big Four. Paul?
Thank you. I'm Paul Callender. Here's my take on the biggest four campus-wide events that happened this semester. While there haven't been any big construction projects or social distancing rules put in place, Messiah University certainly isn't the same as it was back in January. Well, speaking of January, in fact, that actually reminds me, one of the biggest four events this semester was the surge in COVID-19 cases in January as everyone came back to campus. The Omicron variant of COVID-19 was surging during the holiday season, and with everyone seeing their families, the coronavirus was spreading without requiring a COVID-19 test upon coming back. Many students came back to campus with the virus. And Messiah University saw its highest number of on-campus COVID-19 cases ever. Despite this spike, COVID-19 actually began to decline after the third week of classes began. And, with all this talk of spreading, that it made me think of another thing. On February 16th, the Department of Housing announced a significant change to housing capacity. On-campus apartments that have traditionally housed 3 or 5 students per apartment will now see 2 and 4 people in these apartments coming into this academic year. This is a big change in comfortability for students looking to live in an apartment next year, but this change will also be felt in dorm housing too. Dorms that were traditionally triples and quads were reduced to doubles, triples, and even singles sometimes the fall 2020 semester. But the next academic year, students will once again have the option to live with 3 of their closest friends in a quad dorm. Now, while this did inconvenience some housing plans at first, many students actually now figured out their plans and will certainly appreciate the new opportunities coming this fall. Also in the month of February, students had the chance to vote for new SGA student body president and vice president. 3 candidate pairs made it to their ballot, with Pauline Ducho and Mireles Bermudez being elected to represent the student body in the 2022-2023 academic year. Ducho and Bermudez ran on the promise of keeping their doors open for conversation. One idea actually proposed would be to offer monthly town hall meetings where students can come out and voice their opinions about how the SGA budget ought to be spent. Additionally, they also strive to make it easier for students to understand how to financially succeed while paying for college. YBTV will continue to report on SGA throughout the upcoming year, but if you want to learn more about their candidates, check out the full coverage of the debate on our YouTube page, and we also have an exclusive town hall with Ducho and Bermudez on our YouTube. And last but not least, certainly not least, students and staff alike rejoiced on February 27th when the university officially dropped the indoor mask mandate. After wearing masks for about 2 years on campus, it was a literal breath of fresh air for many to no longer need to wear a mask while inside of the buildings. While the university continues to take the necessary precautions when handling COVID-19, many see this as a step in the right direction towards normalcy. And the seniors were able to have one last normal semester before the time at Messiah University wrapped up. It's been a wild ride this semester here at Messiah, and I'm grateful for all the experiences that have come our way. Thank you for sticking us with YBTV this semester, and those were my big 4 campus-wide events that happened this semester. I'm Paul Callender, sending it back to Reed and Nolan.
Thanks, Paul. As this year comes to an end, so does Provost Randy Basinger's time at Messiah. After the announcement of his retirement in February, PJ Rydell brings us a closer look at Basinger's impact here at Messiah.
I love what I'm doing here. I've been doing it for so long, and I'm 72. I need to think about the rest of my life.
Provost Randy Basinger isn't kidding when he says he's been here a while. Basinger began his Messiah career in 1983 as an associate professor of philosophy. Then in 2005, he was appointed by President Phipps as the next provost. Now, after 18 years as provost and 39 years at Messiah, Basinger is officially retiring at the end of the semester. Basinger's work ethic and commitment to academics stood out to President Phipps on day one, and continues to now as their nearly 2-decade-old administration comes to an end.
You know, he's a believer in academic excellence. He modeled that, certainly, as a professor, and I think he modeled it as an administrator. I mean, his work ethic is legendary.
Since 2005, Basinger and Phipps have led Messiah through many milestone moments that were planned long in advance, such as introducing graduate school courses. Despite milestones like this, one of his favorite aspects of being provost is the interaction with faculty he's helped to hire.
I've also had the privilege as a provost who's been here for 18 years to actually hire someone and see them progress through the promotions and tenure. If you're only a provost for 4 or 5 years, you never have that experience.
It is very rare to have a provost or a president, for that matter, who are in their roles for 18 years. So Randy's longevity in the role, I think, speaks to the fact that it's never been for him about himself. He's just a servant.
Now, Basinger will step away, not with exhaustion, but out of satisfaction.
It was a really good run, and I had the privilege of not saying, "Boy, I got to get out of here." That's not the point at all. It's just the time to get out and time to do something different. And I'm just going to be looking forward to the next couple of years to see what's going to happen.
So whether he spends retirement writing, thinking, gardening, building, starting a band, or spending time with family, we wish Randy Basinger the best in whatever comes next. For YBTV, I'm PJ Rydell.
Thanks, PJ. This semester had a lot of change within the Student Government Association. The Student Senate successfully passed 2 resolutions and a change to the grant system for student leaders. A resolution to support the allowing of students over the age of 21 to consume alcohol off campus was passed at the March 21st Senate meeting. This resolution will now continue to the Board of Trustees for review. The religious toleration resolution was proposed at the same meeting but did not pass. An amended version was presented and then passed at the April 11th Senate meeting.
There are plenty of events on campus to keep students busy this semester. Josh McLeaf brings us a look at some of the top events from the semester.
Clubs and organizations around campus hosted a variety of events this semester to keep the student body engaged and help them have a little bit of fun. The Union was home to many of these events throughout the semester and the year. All eyes turned to the stage for special events like Name That Tune, coffee houses, and the Anxious concert.
A lot of sweat, a lot of headbanging, a lot of fun.
However, if headbanging isn't your style, then maybe you enjoyed splashing around at the pool party hosted by Wellness and Recreation.
Never done anything like this before, so we're super excited. We had a kayaking relay with the Outdoors Club, and then we had water aerobics with the fitness center.
Or perhaps you spent some time hanging out with KP at the breakfast hosted by Beyond the Ceiling, or at the banquet that was hosted by the Minds Mattered Banquet Initiative. As the weather got warmer, students started to move outside with events like the block party, and most recently this past weekend, Vinylthon, and the Spring Fling, where that new green space turned into a dance floor where students partied the night away. That's a look at events this semester. For YBTV, I'm Josh McLeaf.
Thanks, Josh. There were a lot of incredible events this semester. I had the privilege of hosting Name That Tune. It was a ton of fun. I'm a big supporter of Vinylthon. What was your favorite event, Reed?
I did attend Vinylthon and had a good time, but pretty much any of the events that involved music, Coffee House especially because of all the in-house student talent, was a lot of fun.
Coffee House is always a fun one.
Yeah.
Hey, I got another event for you. YBTV being on in the Union. Hey, guys. We'll be right back. We're going to learn about some of your favorite memories from this semester. Stay tuned.
A student would want to study the finance major here at Messiah for several reasons. Students here are working and practicing in a setting in our finance lab with technology that they're going to use when they leave here and work in the field. And so our students are certified in Bloomberg. In addition, in several classes, our students are actually performing consulting projects with local financial and investing firms.
I think the biggest thing that surprised me about coming for the finance major here was just the scope that you get in all the different classes. So anything from corporate finance to portfolio management and security analysis, you touch on everything. Getting into investment club was something I really was looking forward to coming here to Messiah. I knew from very early on I wanted to get involved.
There's nothing wrong with going out, being successful, making money, but not allowing money to have a higher place in your life than God. So our goal is to get our students started off on their career path quicker and better positioned than any of their peers.
You're watching YBTV live on YouTube. Check out our channel after the show for more great content from Messiah University.
It should be fun. I love s'mores.
Me too, especially on a campfire.
The best.
Golden brown.
You're watching YBTV.
Thanks for watching YBTV Rewind. Nolan Putnam is here with our last campus calendar of the year. Nolan?
Good evening, Messiah University, and welcome back to our campus calendar. As we head into our last week of classes, keep in mind all of the Falcon Fitness classes and campus ministry opportunities that are taking place. We all know that as the semester winds down, stress does not. Check out all the calendar for all different yoga and Pilates classes that are taking place. Take the opportunity to de-stress and breathe as we prep for finals. These classes are free but require sign-up. Head to the student events calendar on Falcon Link for more details and to access the sign-ups. After the show tonight, there will be an outdoor neon spin ride. Wear your favorite neon colors and be ready to crush it on the bike to some awesome jams. The class will meet in the parking lot outside of the fitness center. For those who still need their chapel credits, Tuesday's chapel will be a CNC music chapel. As usual, this will be Tuesday morning, but will be in Palmer Hall. Come to Haas Center from 7 until 7:45 for the final hymn sing of the semester. There isn't much happening on Wednesday, so let's jump into Thursday. Thursday morning, we'll hold community. Good evening, Messiah University, and welcome back to our campus calendar. As we head into our last week of classes, keep in mind all of the Falcon Fitness classes and campus ministry opportunities that are taking place. We all know that as the semester winds down, stress does not. Check out all the calendar for all different yoga and Pilates classes that are taking place. Take the opportunity to de-stress and breathe as we prep for finals. These classes are free but require sign-up. Head to the student events calendar on Falcon Link for more details and to access the sign-ups. After the show tonight, there will be an outdoor neon spin ride. Wear your favorite neon colors and be ready to crush it on the bike to some awesome jams. The class will meet in the parking lot outside of the fitness center. For those who still need their chapel credits, Tuesday's chapel will be a CNC music chapel. As usual, this will be Tuesday morning, but will be in Palmer Hall. Come to Haas Center from 7 until 7:45 for the final hymn sing of the semester. There isn't much happening on Wednesday, so let's jump into Thursday. Thursday morning, we'll hold community.
Thank you, Nolan. As the year comes to a close, it's time to learn a little bit more about what Messiah is doing this summer. Here's Rosie Schiano with our last Falcon of the Street.
I'm this week's Falcon on the Street reporter, Rosie Schiano, and today we're asking people what their favorite memory of the semester was.
My favorite memory this year, or this semester, was when I went on spring break. I got to go to Houston with a friend. We got to take a lot of dance classes. We did some fun stuff like aerial silks and a hip-hop class. And we just got to tour the city and see if it's somewhere we wanted to move to after graduation.
My favorite memory at Messiah was at the library where we did mini golf. We did different stations and they had different activities that we could do there.
My favorite part has to be the International Festival that is hosted by the International Student Association here on campus. Another one I would say Senate a few weeks ago where we had to debate. It was fun to hear other students' perspectives and just make a campus a better place.
My favorite memory of the semester was the SAB excursion to New York to see Hadestown on Broadway.
Okay, I'd say that my favorite memory from this semester was me and my friends got together and went in my apartment and we baked cookies and delivered them all across campus, and that was just super fun and super joyful.
That's it for this week's Falcon on the Street. For YBTV, I'm Rosie Schiano, and we'll see you in the fall.
Thanks, Rosie. Nolan, what was your favorite memory from the semester?
I've had a lot, Reed. I'm going to be honest with you. It's really hard to pick, but I will say that I have had a ton of fun on YBTV.
Yeah, I was actually thinking the exact same thing. I think my favorite memory is just any of the memories that I've made with the new friends that I've made right here at YBTV.
We have a great time, and we hope you are too. We'll take a look at sports next.
Keep it here on YBTV.
The new athletic training curriculum at Messiah College is a 5-year accelerated program that results in completion of a bachelor's in applied health science with a concentration in pre-athletic training and a master's of science in athletic training.
When I was introduced to the athletic training program at Messiah, I knew right away that it was going to be the right fit for me. There was just so much support and so much interest in me as an individual, and that community was really something special.
I think a student should be interested in studying this program, particularly at Messiah, largely because of the people that we have. Students are going to formally participate in case studies and case reviews, and there's also opportunities for collaboration with the faculty.
My friendship with the program director, Dr. Matt Lewis, has supported my journey as a Christian, as an athletic trainer, and as a scientist.
We are passionate about our students, and we're also passionate about the profession of athletic training.
C77 is now officially rebranded as Yellow Breeches TV.
You're watching Falcon Update live on Messiah University's Yellow Breeches Television.
Welcome back to YBTV Rewind right here on Yellow Breeches Television.
It's time to take a look at this semester's most notable moments in sports.
During the spring 2022 semester, Messiah's winter and spring sports saw plenty of success. Sports such as men's and women's basketball, men's volleyball, wrestling, and men's and women's swimming all found their way into the MAC playoffs. Of those teams to make the playoffs, Messiah's women's basketball team and women's swim team climbed all the way to the top, earning the MAC Commonwealth Championships honors for 2022. For women's basketball, it was their 6th consecutive title. For women's swimming, it was their 8th in 9 years. Now we await the results of the competition this week to see which spring sports will go on to the playoffs in the coming weeks.
Also this semester, Messiah Athletics inducted 7 new members into the Hall of Honor. The 7-member class of the 2022 was the largest in the history of the Hall of Honor. The ceremony was held for the first time in 2 years back in early April. Several alumni, as well as current Messiah athletes, were in attendance, as the accomplishments of former Messiah athletes were recognized. Now the plaques recognizing the 7 inductees can be found in the Hall of Honor just outside Hitchcock Arena.
Not only did we honor legendary Messiah athletes with the Hall of Honor, but we witnessed history in the making as well, as a handful of current athletes broke program, conference, and national records during this semester. Men's swimmer PJ Kronower broke the program record in the 1,000-yard freestyle in February. Most notably, Esther Seeland from Messiah's women's track team broke multiple records this semester, including the national championship record in the indoor 800-meter event.
Well, that brings this edition of YBTV Rewind to a close. And Nolan, this is your last time anchoring. How does that feel?
I've been doing this every semester. I've been here for 4 years, and I'll be honest, it has been a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I've had such a fantastic time. Thank you so much to all of my crewmates on YBTV. You guys are the absolute best.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It might be my last time anchoring, but I will actually be hosting a first look at the Splice Film Festival right after this break, so definitely stay tuned for that and more of me. But right now, for myself, Reed Milliken, and the rest of our fantastic reporters, good luck on your finals, have a great summer, and thank you so much for watching YBTV. Join me again after these messages.
I grew up creative, always drawing. Legos, played a ton of Legos from the time I could start putting them together. When I got into school, I thought I was going to be a painter, and then I thought I was going to be a graphic designer, but it wasn't until I took my first foundations of art class, 3D design, where I was carving a salt block, just a little carpenter chisel, and I stuck it underneath the water, and it kind of started deteriorating, and I loved it, and it felt comfortable, and it felt right, and that's when I realized that 3D is where I belong. Sculpture is what I needed to pursue. If you feel that passion in your belly, if you wake up and you got to make something, if you grab a paper clip and you manipulate it into some form, or you're doodling in your sketchbook, or everything you do you see through a more creative side, then listen to that spirit talking in you and follow it. And for that young artist, it's hard and it's difficult, but you got to just keep on doing it. You got to just keep on doing it. We were all there. We want to hang out with you. We want you to look over our shoulder and watch us cut this piece. Ask us that question. Don't be scared. Everybody has that starting point.
My name is Nathan Sims. I'm a junior at Messiah, and I'm a double major in both film and media arts and Spanish. I grew up making films as a kid. I saw that Messiah had a film program, and so when I visited, I just thought this is the perfect fit. Both the theory and practical considerations here have really increased my skill set, not just in a technical sense, but also from a theoretical perspective as well. I think the biggest piece that I'll add to my portfolio before I graduate is the final film for the junior and senior film project. That'll probably be my crowning achievement because I'm working with so many other artists and other film majors, and it's just been a really great opportunity so far. I think I'm most excited to use skills I've learned in documentary class. I have to make ethical decisions in every step of the process to really come up with a strong and truthful way to tell someone else's story. I think my professors have done a really great job of being strong examples for what combining your faith and your ethics with an art form like film, what that looks like. And so the interactions have almost always been positive because they're really invested in what their students are learning. One of my most valuable experiences was my internship, where I was able to actually apply what I learned in the classroom to the real world, and I think that's a completely invaluable experience. Personally, I did my internship with the Department of Natural Resources in Maryland. One of my favorite experiences at Messiah so far has actually been the Splice Film Festival, which allows students to submit their own personal work, and being able to share the art that I created as well as my fellow classmates was absolutely beautiful. I think the market right now is very open for film and media arts majors. There's a lot of different ways that you can plug in, both at nonprofits, at regular organizations. I worked in the government, and so I think there are absolutely a lot of opportunities.
YB Tonight presents Splice First Look. Here's your host, Nolan Hogenboom.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to YB Tonight's Splice First Look. I'm your host, Nolan Hogenboom. Tonight, we'll get to meet the creators behind the upcoming short films, and we'll get to see an exclusive sneak peek of the films debuting at Splice Film Festival on May 1st at 2 p.m. in Parmer Cinema. Without further ado, let's meet our first guest. I'm joined by S.J. Evans, director of the short film Something Happened. How are we doing tonight?
Good. How are you, Nolan?
I am fantastic. This is my last YBTV show, but it's a fun one, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's films. Something Happened will be debuting during Splice, but YBTV has an exclusive preview trailer for the film. I should note that this trailer contains content for mature audiences, and viewer discretion is advised. Let's take a look.
So, when would you say you first began feeling disjointed? Catherine?
Well, for a while, I just didn't let myself feel anything.
What did you do?
Well, that was a very mysterious preview. Can you shed a little bit of light on the plot without spoiling too many details for us?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it nice and vague so I want people to be surprised.
Sure.
But it's basically about a young woman who goes through a traumatic event and makes an attempt to take back control of her life.
Sure.
Dark stuff happens. That's all I'm giving you.
As it would. Intriguing. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Deciding who plays the main character in a film, I think, is often a challenge. How did you come upon Emma Henn for this role?
It was honestly a really difficult process. She was actually originally casted as a completely different character, and I sat down and looked at who I had casted and who I needed to cast, and I just kind of realized I was underutilizing her talent, and she has absolutely taken the role beyond what I ever even thought it was going to be. So she just did a really great job. We did a re-audition, and she had the part immediately.
Nice. And it's clear from the trailer and from what you hinted at that the film touches on some heavier topics. What inspired you to do so?
I was just inspired by a lot of stories of like young women that I've heard and encountered. Obviously, it is very, sensitive subject matter, but I do think it's really important to talk about sexual assault and subjects like that because they are really real things that are important to discuss and acknowledge.
Given the context and the content, was it difficult to get that vision onto the big screen for Splice?
It was in the way that it was just hard for everyone on set because it's, sets are really fun
Heavy
and
stuff,
you're enjoying it, and then you have to go shoot scenes that are uncomfortable for everyone involved.
Right.
So that part was really hard, and aside from that, it wasn't too bad.
Can you point to any films in particular that inspired you during the making of Something Happened?
Oh gosh. I was vaguely inspired by Promising Young Woman. Parts of that. It's just any movie really from the genre of The Good for Her, which is very like feminist-centered films about women getting revenge kind of thing. There wasn't really a major inspiration of any kind though.
What do you want audiences at Splice to get out of watching Something Happened?
I definitely want people to be able to see it and to be able to identify with the main character in ways, and if they do, to find some form of, I don't know, healing, I guess, if that makes sense, to find comfort in the material. But I also want it to be a wake-up call to people watching it that if they relate to certain characters in the film, maybe they should be questioning decisions they're making.
Sure.
Just to get that message out there in general.
Yeah. Well, SJ, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your work with us. Something Happened, directed by S.J. Evans, is debuting at Splice Film Festival on May 1st. Coming up next, we'll get a preview of Election Night from Liam Fitzsimmons. Keep it here on YB Tonight for Splice First Look.
You're watching YBTV live on YouTube. Check out our channel after the show for more great content from Messiah University.
It should be fun. I love s'mores.
Me too. Especially on a campfire.
The best.
Golden brown.
Good evening, and thanks for tuning in to YB Tonight's Splice First Look. I'm your host, Nolan Hogenboom. Here with me is director Liam Fitzsimmons, the master behind the upcoming film Election Night. The film will debut at Splice Film Festival on May 1st. But Liam, do we have a preview of the film tonight?
I believe we do, yeah.
We do indeed. Let's take a look at Election Night from Liam Fitzsimmons.
Alex, do you have a response to Ethan's question?
It's not that hard to improve when you've already set the bar so low. Thanks for making it so worthwhile.
It's fine. We weren't going to win anyway.
So you're done? You're just giving up? Ethan requested a larger budget than usual. Who knows what he could have done with the extra money? We'd have to try to do something about it. You're just going to have to decide how much you're willing to risk here.
Well, that certainly does leave a lot of questions to be answered. I saw our very own YBTV in there. Liam, can you shed a little more light onto the plot of the film without giving away too many details before Splice?
Sure. A basic log line for the movie would be on the eve of a student body election, one of the candidates basically tries to steal it by digging up dirt on his opponent. So, yeah.
Underhanded.
Yeah.
What are the pros and cons of having the film set on a college campus? I noticed Messiah's brick walkways in there.
Yeah, everything was shot on campus. You know, a lot of places that you'd recognize. And we kind of played that as like one of our strengths, in that it made like traveling really easy, you know, just like a lot of the logistics of a film set that would be really challenging. It was just like all kind of in one space, and we knew the space as well. I mean, like we've all been here for a few years, so we know what it looks like, and we could kind of like when I was writing it, I could kind of envision everything, even if I wasn't in that space, and we didn't really have to pick locations, you know, except for like which apartment to film in.
Right.
You know,
but you knew the apartments were there.
Right.
Use,
you know, we know what they look like. So like, you know, we know what the union is. We know what, like, I knew what the library looked like. It made it a lot easier.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can you point to any films or filmmakers in particular that inspired election night?
I would say probably David Fincher. Probably the Social Network, just because, you know, similarly like on a college campus, and Nathan Velasco, my DP, we definitely wanted to kind of mimic the cinematography of his movies.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you know, we did a good job.
Well, the trailer looked incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
We heard this film took you 3 semesters to put together in total. Can you tell us why that was so time-consuming? What was going on there?
Well, believe it or not, it was actually a bit longer than 3. I came up with the idea for the movie even before we got sent home for COVID. So
it was a while back, yeah.
Yeah, January of 2020. I was in production classes then, and I was just like thinking through ideas, and I had an idea for just a debate scene of some kind. And as you could see
on YBTV.
Yes, on YBTV. It was a little different when I thought of it then, but that's how the film starts now. And so I had that idea. Everything with COVID happened, you know, everything changes. I took screenwriting I think it was fall of 2020 when we got back from COVID, and I had to write a script for a short film, and I had that, and I was like, well, that's a good idea, why don't I expand on it? So I did that, and that was the first draft. And then Keegan Hurley, my producer, who also co-wrote it, come the next semester when we start junior, senior film practicum, we had a bunch of ideas, and we thought that was the strongest, so we went with it. And then last semester, we were doing just primary production, so I think maybe like 75% of the film was shot last semester. And then this semester we had one last shoot in the apartment, and then it was just a long game for me of getting a lot of pickup shots that were needed, and then I've been editing it all semester,
It's 2 years you've been working on this movie.
Yeah,
Labor
it's been
of love.
a long process.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. Can you think of any creative filming techniques that you use to make election night? Any quirky tips and tricks?
I mean, there's one shot that I really like. I don't know if we included anything from the scene in the trailer, but there's a really cool shot where we had a group of people up in the glass conference room in the Union, kind of over on the left, and Claire, one of the characters, is sitting down in just the main part of the Union, and we've had a 70-200 lens zoomed in all the way, and it was firing from really high up in that room down towards Claire.
Yeah.
And then there's people moving in the foreground.
Going across the screen.
Yeah, and they're kind of like, so it's just kind of like silhouettes in front of her. And I ended up doing like a cool thing with the way it like kind of fills the frame and it goes to a title card. So I was really excited about that. It like kind of came out exactly the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
It was just like something I had in my head. But yeah, I mean, the film is pretty simple. Like, it's just, you know, a lot of just simple cinematography that we just wanted to make sure it looked really strong. So
yeah. What do you hope audiences get out of watching election night?
You know, the film, as serious as that might have looked, it's a little more kind of silly, you know, and it's maybe not necessarily lighthearted, but I think college students might have fun watching it, in that they can just kind of relate to, you know, like, oh, that's what, you know, that I know this kind of thing would, you know, like I've seen that at my college maybe, or like especially Messiah students, you know, because it all takes place here and they can kind of relate to
I've been to the Union.
Yeah. They can, or like maybe they've watched a debate, you know,
Sure.
or just the kind of jargon that they speak with is very collegey. So, yeah.
Well, election night will make its debut at Splice Film Festival on May 1st. Thanks again to Liam Fitzsimmons for coming on tonight and giving us a taste of what's to come. Next up, we'll get an exclusive look at Mason Lever's Mute. Thanks for watching Splice First Look right here on YB Tonight.
My name is Natalie Moy. I'm a senior and I'm a digital media major.
I feel like the classes here have helped me to train my eye to detect good design. I like how the professors don't force you into one way of thinking. Instead, they allow you to be creative and think of projects in your own way, and they will guide you and help you envision your project to make it even better and stronger. I have this one professor who starts off his classes with prayers, and I feel like that's really great because it starts us off reminding us that we are creating something for God, so we have that in our minds to create something that He will be pleased with. In my portfolio, I have quite a large variety of works. I have design-based works, I have photography, I have videography. One of the big projects I will be expecting in my portfolio would be from the junior-senior film class that I'm taking this semester. I'll be the production designer for this short film, and I'm looking forward to work with my crew because they're all awesome people. Messiah has this media hub called The Pulse, so I've been working for them for the past few months, and you can do stuff like designing, photography, videography, the radio station, and you can even design websites, write articles. I think it's a really great opportunity for me to get my work out there. I'm a designer, so people on campus or even off campus get to see what I do, and I think that's really great. So if you're a digital media student, you could go into computer science fields, or you could go into the film industries or graphic design. I guess it's the beauty of digital media, it's just so versatile.
Just looking to help, friend. Come on,
You're watching YBTV.
Welcome back to Splice First Look. I'm Nolan Hogenboom. If you're just tuning in now, we've gotten two exclusive looks at Something Happened and Election Night, and the last film we're going to look at tonight here for Splice is Mute. I'm here with director Mason Lever, who made this film happen. How you doing, Mason?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm excited to see this. We've got an exclusive unedited clip straight from Mute here on YBTV. Let's take a look.
God's peace be with you. How are you doing today? Cat got your tongue? Let me guess, it's been a while, huh?
Yes.
Do you want me to give you a hint?
No, I remember. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
And how long has it been since your last confession?
I don't remember. A long time. Not since I was a kid.
Well, it's okay. It's like riding a bike. It'll come back to you.
Father, I may have committed a terrible sin.
What's your sin, my son?
I don't know. You'll have to tell me.
I don't know either. We'll have to find out on May 1st at Splice Film Festival. Mason, the other films we've previewed tonight were largely set on a college campus and starred college students, but your film does neither. Can you tell us more about that decision?
Yeah, so it was mostly just of necessity from the script that I wanted to write. So this is actually an adaptation of a Stephen King short story. And so, you know, the story just involved adults and, you know, being at a church and thankfully I had some connections that were able to make that happen, but it definitely was not an easy undertaking to find all those locations, but yeah.
Well, the title, Mute, there is pretty open-ended. Doesn't seem to have much to do with the church. Without giving too much away, can you tell us about the connection between the title and the plot?
Yeah, well, I think there is a literal significance that you'll see in the film. There is a mute character in there.
Sure.
I also think that the short story and the script that I adapted is has a lot to do with God's silence and about not being able to actually communicate your feelings. The main character has sort of a failing marriage, and you start to get the sense that he's not being entirely honest with himself or with others about his relationship. So, yeah.
So you've made a lot of films here at Messiah. I remember interviewing you for our last Splice Festival. What's on the horizon for you?
Yeah, so I'm looking at going to grad school right now to study film and television production and hopefully working in film or maybe teaching. So, yeah.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Thanks.
I've loved all your work so far. I'm looking forward to seeing
Thanks
this.
so much.
Where do you draw your inspiration from to make films such as Mute?
Gosh, I think for Mute, I'm a really big Stephen King fan, so I was inspired by the original short story. I also was inspired by a film called Calvary, which is a Catholic film about a priest in a very weird situation, and a lot of literature too. I don't know, it was just kind of a combination of a lot of things for me.
Yeah. Well, I asked the same thing of Liam. I'll ask it of you. Are there any creative film techniques that you came up with while making Mute?
Oh gosh, came up with, I don't know.
Or utilized. Anything out of the ordinary that might catch the audience's eye?
We had a pretty interesting setup because of how short of a time we had in the chapel, where we basically had 3 different camera setups ready to go, and then kind of as we moved through the church, we would sort of take one and shuffle it over here and then film the next bit. And while we were filming one bit, the crew was setting up the next part. So we actually had 3 camera setups
like
rotating all the time. Kind of like a sitcom, yeah. Yeah, we had 2 hours to get 10 shots. So it was really a lot, yeah.
So what did you find to be the most challenging part of the production? That sounds like it was a fun time.
Yeah, definitely just coordinating, because we are working with adults who, have real jobs.
Right.
The guy who plays a priest is a real priest. So it was hard to coordinate these schedules and oh man, we have, 1 hour to get the shots we need. It was tough.
Yeah. Lastly, Mason, what do you hope that the audience gets out of watching Mute?
Oh man, I would think, I would hope that the audience might ask themselves questions about fate and about guilt and that sort of thing, yeah.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah, kind of.
But I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm very much looking forward to it. Mason, thank you so much for sharing with us.
You.
Mute, along with Something Happened and Election Night, will be at the Splice Film Festival on May 1st. Just 3 of the 9 films being shown there at 2 p.m. in Parmer Cinema. Come out to support your fellow students as they debut all their films on the big screen in Parmer Cinema. For all of us here at YBTV, I'm Nolan Hogenboom. Have a great night.
A student would want to study the finance major here at Messiah for several reasons. Students here are working and practicing in a setting in our finance lab with technology that they're going to use when they leave here and work in the field. And so our students are certified in Bloomberg. In addition, in several classes, our students are actually performing consulting projects with local financial and investing firms.
I think the biggest thing that surprised me about coming for the finance major here was just the scope that you get in all the different classes. So anything from corporate finance to portfolio management and security analysis, you touch on everything. Getting into investment club was something I really was looking forward to coming here to Messiah. I knew from very early on I wanted to get involved.
There's nothing wrong with going out, being successful, making money, but not allowing money to have a higher place in your life than God. So our goal is to get our students started off on their career path quicker and better positioned than any of their peers.
Will, are you still with me?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
We haven't seen each other in a while.
I know. Sorry, it's just...
No need to apologize. I know it's busy right now, all of this change. How are you coping?
Best I can, I guess.
Oh, hi. I suppose you're wondering what an A-list celebrity like me is doing in a place like this. You must know, I'm saving the world. Oh, hi, Beth. Yep, saving the world again. Did you know that 40% of all the food produced in the United States is thrown away? That means everything that went into that food, the pesticides, the water, the land, was all for nothing. Just look at this perfectly good food thrown in the trash. The pizza with extra Cheerios, these goldfish and Band-Aid tacos. And just look at this perfect trash burger. This pasta dog looks delicious.
You don't have to dumpster dive like Ed Begley Jr. to save the planet. Fight food waste by shopping smart and using what you buy before it gets trashed.
That's way better. Ooh, arugula.
Do your part and find out other world-saving tips at betterthaned.org.
And you thought YBTV was over, but before you go, YBTV wants to say one final thank you and goodbye to all of our seniors. Would you all join me out here? All right, so we've got, this is Kenny Runkle, Nolan Hogenboom, you just saw him on there, Chris Blakeman, and Nate Peterson. They've been doing YBTV, well, Kenny, Nolan, and Nate have been doing YBTV since it's been MC77. They've been a huge asset to our crew and part of our success as a crew and team. Chris joined last year, but he still made a lasting impact on YBTV. So on behalf of the entire YBTV staff, thank you for the work that you've done and the memories that we've made along the way and all that. So it's been a real pleasure, honestly, for all of us. So good luck with everything coming up in your lives, whatever may come. But yeah, we just wanted to say thank you and have a great night.